Michael Cepeda, and I am going to give my video on a structured lesson that I would be incorporating into my classroom full of English language learners. Now, I have chosen the math lesson, and the TEKS is under 4A, which is basically going over angles such as and going over vocabulary such as the vertex, the rays, and of course right angle, obtuse angle, acute, and straight line. And basically, my reason for picking this TEKS is because I'm really interested in teaching math when I do get my certification and degree. I'm ready to teach. But not only that, I have actually performed this lesson for another course earlier this week, matter of fact. And I enjoyed it working with someone else, but I feel like I can perform it just as well alone in the classroom. And first of all, to get an English language learner into a class, I feel like if you bring other cultural aspects, such as something that they've seen at home or work from their prior knowledge, into the classroom, I feel like they'll learn just as well. Or also manipulatives, something they can visualize, including a video, which I actually included in my lesson, which I have right here on my phone. Actually, this is something how you engage the learner into just seeing the lesson firsthand. That way they get into it. They want to learn more. And by learning this sing along, actually, I feel like they'll not only memorize the content, but it'll stick to them since it's in the form of a song. Now I'm just gonna play the beginning of it because the second portion of it is just for them to sing along. Like the first part just teaches them. The second part is for them to actually get up, sing, and dance the way the video is portrayed. And here's the video. I'm just gonna show it.
Types of Angles Song. Come and sing along. Right angle. It is 90 degrees. You say acute angle. Less than 90 degrees. You say obtuse angle. More than 90 degrees. In a straight angle is 180. Right angle. It is 90 degrees. You say acute angle. Less than 90 degrees. You say obtuse angle. More than 90 degrees. In a straight angle is 180. The types of angles are right. The types of angles are right. A straight angle is 180 degrees. Now everybody can see right. The types of angles are right. A straight angle.
Now, as I said, the video itself, it's a really common song that the child more likely heard, whether, like, for example, here in the valley, something like a quinceañera or a party. I'm sorry about that. A party, a wedding, everyone hears the YMCA song, something they can relate to. It's actually really helpful. For that way, they can stick to them. They can go to a party, hear that song, and say, "Hey, I learned that in class," like, and they sing their own version of it to their own parents. So it's a win-win on that basis with using the song. Not only that, but the second portion, which is basically giving them the opportunity to actually answer questions that you perform there in class. Now, I understand that some of them may be shy since they don't really know the language, including those that are in the beginning stages of learning the language proficiency. But it's still really helpful to learn it in class, including a worksheet that it's at the very end, just to grade, just to see what they learned that day or for the week, what have you. But in this worksheet that I have given, I wish I had a copy with me. But basically, it's a photo of a sawboat as well as a lamp, and if I'm not mistaken, it's a car. Now, basically, they're of course just pick art. That's all it really is, and they have to figure out how many right angles, how many acute angles, how many obtuse angles are located in the photo. Now we can work as a group, as a whole class. We can get students to get involved just by asking them to come to the picture, and if there's a projector, of course, they can all see it. It doesn't have to be just there or an overhead. I know that's something that not a lot of people, not a teachers use at this time, but it's something that can really help just by doing it themselves so the other students can see. And like I said, you can do it as a class, you can do it peer to peer, or even individual work for those who do understand the language, who do understand the content, and they don't really need much help. But I'm pretty sure as an English language learner, I'm sorry, they do need that assistance, which is really there for the teacher or for a peer to help them out. And that's basically it for the lesson. It's more. There was another portion where you actually get the students to get up and search for these angles in the classroom, whether it be the right angle of a chair or the obtuse angle of a rolling chair of the bottom of the chair, or an acute angle of a paper clip. You know, anything really that they can find or they can recall from their home. It really gets them involved, and not only that, you as a teacher are there to assist them in any way possible. As far as a structured classroom, I feel like I'm really prepared for that. This class has really prepared me, learning from the textbook, of course. But in the end, you must treat your students equally. We're gonna get these students. Of course, here in the Valley, it's more of a Hispanic culture that we get. So always be prepared for those 5 to 10 students that you will have in each classroom year to year. It really prepares you, being able to handle them. But of course, if there's multicultural schools, you need to be ready for those type of students that come from Asia or Europe. Really, anything. You need to be open to any language. And yes, it's an issue. It's a struggle us educators come into contact to, but we must be prepared in any way possible. Thank you for watching this video. I will post a link to the video of the YMCA song just so if you want to see it for yourself. But it is really helpful and useful for your classroom when, especially in a math environment where you have to go over angles and rays and vertexes. It's really useful. But again, thank you, and yeah, that's it.